New Zealand dollar. I'm expecting it to probably move back down to this area. My stop should be there, my TP. I'll start taking profits from here early on, and then if we before the market opens, ask yourself this question: what actually matters this week? Today, we'll be looking at the dollar index, Euro USD, and GPB USD, the key economic events, and the calendar, and where liquidity is sitting, and the levels that I'm going to be watching before placing a single trade. Let's get right into it. Now, the first things first, I'm going to post the previous weekly analysis in the description in this video, so you can get a very good context on what we are working on. Last week, we found out our bullish scenario that the market should break above this trend line that we had here. It was a complex market correction, and the market broke out, and we've been bullish ever since. That is what we were expecting, and the market has since then broken out of it and retested and gone ahead to move forward on DXY. All right, we didn't get the bearish scenario for DXY, so we've been getting bullish dollar throughout this week. All right, so that is one thing that we've been expecting. Furthermore, we were expecting more growth onto the 103s later on. However, we don't know if that's going to be possible, but if it's not, it's fine. Moreover, we'll be looking at markets taking this high later this week and then maybe coming back down to retest this zone. I'm going to explain why. Next thing we are going to see now is that we are going to check our economic calendar. So let's see what can actually move the market this week. Going to our Forex factory charts, we can see on Wednesday by 7 p.m. GMT +1, we are going to have our FOMC. That's going to be the rate statement. Kevin Walsh is the new Fed chairman, and it looks the market are saying that it's going to keep the interest rate where it is. Okay, now this is going to be very, very tricky. In my opinion, I think that it's going to be bearish dollar after the news. It's going to be bullish dollar before the news, and then bearish dollar after the news. That's my opinion. So before Wednesday, we might be getting more bullish dollar, and after Wednesday, we might be getting bearish dollar. That is my own, based on how I've interpreted it economically. All right. So now, how can we now interpret everything we've seen so far into other market pairs that we can look at? So the first one is Euro USD. Now, going to Euro USD, we were expecting a retest here. We didn't get a retest, but the market just slowly went back down to this area right here. Okay, we were able to get a retest from this area here. This retest, yes, this is from this resistance zone. If you now quickly check on the line chart, you see that this was a very, very key little resistance, and then we cut it and we got the sell back down here. All right, so that was one. That this was around how many pips was this? Almost 90 pips that we got from this. Okay, so that was the sell that we were able to find. All right, and then but this week we were expecting the market to break this zone and continue further downwards based on what we have seen so far on DXY right now. Okay, so we are expecting the market to maybe reach the spike towards the 1-2s. Okay, we should spike towards the 1-2s, and they will quickly bust back out to this area. Let me just mark it up with my arrow here. So this is what I'm expecting. It does not mean that it's going to happen, but this is what I'm expecting. We probably can do that. So we'll see how market plays out from there. All right. Now let's go to the Australian dollar, US dollar. For Australian dollar, US dollar, based on our previous analysis, we said that market should, for the bullish scenario, market should break out from this zone and retest. However, market didn't do that. It didn't break out of the resistance zone. Instead, the resistance zone held very strongly. So now we can see that we have an evening star, a bearish market. So now this is a very, very clear um, short position scenario that I'm just going to find next week. Maybe put my stops around there and put my target around here. Okay, so this was just 43 pips or 46 pips. It looks quite honest. Well, if market goes very well, it might further go down um to the lows right there. So this is what I'll be expecting this week for Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. I'm expecting it to probably move back down to this area. My stop should be there. My TP. I'll start taking profits from here early on, and then if we can take out this low, that's fine also for Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. And for the pound dollar, last week we expected market to break from this zone right here. We had the mini support zone, but market just passed through it. We didn't have any confirmation per se. You check the 1 hour chart from that area, you see that market just went down. It dusted it down. So we didn't have any reason to open any buy or anything. So it just went back down. Okay, so now, but since that has happened now, you can see that market has also eaten the support zone that is around here also right now. So if you look at it very well, you see that market has eaten it. So it looks that we will still be going. Sorry, excuse me. So it looks like we'll still be going further down the drain for pound dollar. You might be expecting the market to get to this level. Okay, because the market is just moving, correcting, bearish, 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 bearish. So we keep on going further down in this area. Okay, so if you look at it from a weekly time frame, you see that um market is trying to form a little bit of support here. Okay, so if, for example, next week weekly market, it spikes here, but it now comes back and support there at the end of next week, that's Friday, then we'll be looking for bullish scenarios later on, because we can see clearly that this is a support zone. Let me just adjust it here. You can see clearly that this is a support zone where market is right now. However, we can always expect everything. Okay, we should always expect everything. So let me just give a little what I'll be looking for personally. I'm just going to draw my 50 Fibonacci here, and so this is the 50% retracement. So we want the market to close or stay around the 50% retracement. If the market stays there, then we know that the support is going to hold, and then we'll probably see bullish markets upper week. Okay, so I'm just going to, so this is what I'm seeing personally. Okay, that's if the market closes around here for upper week. So that is how I see things in my own lens. Okay, now lastly for USD card. USD card is a little bit different. So for USD card, we are going to be saying two things. First of all, we can see that market is in a bullish market, and it has been moving like that for a very long time, quite a long time actually, since May. Okay, and the market retraced, and we probably might still be going further up. However, I want to point everyone to this bearish scenario. Okay, so now if you zoom out a little bit closely here, and let me just, if you zoom out a little bit closely here, you can see that the market is trying to test a broken resistance zone. How is that so? So I'm just going to mark it up now so we can see what I'm talking about. So if you mark up this zone right here, you can see that the market just tested that resistance zone, and then we have a support zone where it has been holding for a very long time. Okay, so now when you look at it this way, you know that you see that the market, it seems that the market has found a fake out outside now, and then we can possibly be retesting right here, and we may be finding bearish leg sometime later, maybe September. So this is just a warning sign that if you are a bullish dollar, you might want to take note of this. Okay, so this is one way to look at things. I'm not saying that it's going to go down. I'm just saying that this is what my spidey senses are telling me now that we can watch out for sometime in the future. So I think you should watch out for um this potential setup on USD card. All right. So now, lastly, for everything, remember that market rewards preparation and not prediction. So you stay patient, stay disciplined, and keep hunting pips. Au revoir.